The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, and where you can subscribe to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/GaryBaumgarten, which will put you in touch with all the great stories that we discussed during the show. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. And we welcome back an old affiliate of ours that has just returned. ASI is back with News Talk Online, and you can hear us thanks to the good folks at ASI on Shoutcast TV. How about that? Pretty cool. Welcome to the show. Well, we're going to start today with a story about a guy you've never heard of before, but you should know about him. His name is Loren Spivack. He owns a kiosk in a Connecticut shopping mall. He's being tossed out for violating his lease because he sells T-shirts and bumper stickers that have anti-Obama sayings on them. Now, our guest acknowledges that the lease permits Simon Property Group, the owners of the Concord Mall, to prohibit the sale of any items that it at its sole discretion finds offensive. But there's a double standard. Let me give you 3 examples of the things that they wanted him to take off his shelf. A bumper sticker that read, "Obama wins, they celebrate in Iran. Do you get it yet?" "Obama, change Al-Qaeda can believe in." And on a T-shirt, "No to Osama, Obama, and Chelsea's mama." Now, you may not like his point of view, but he has a right to try to sell that to people who agree with him, in my opinion. Now, at the same time, they allow, at other shops in the same mall, "I eat," and then a pejorative term for the female reproductive anatomy, "I eat beep like a fat kid eats cake. I love my daddy even though he's an a-hole, and don't just use me for my," and then a term slang for male genitalia. That's allowed, but what Loren Spivack was selling is not. Loren Spivack, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Well, thank you for having me. We're in North Carolina, by the way, not Connecticut.
I'm sorry, North Carolina. Well, then we're going to have to change that on the blog. Another error, but that would be my fault.
It's Concord Mall in North Carolina. Everything else you said is right on the money. This is owned by Simon Properties Group, which is one of the largest owners of retail real estate in the world. They have malls in, I think, 47 states and dozens of countries around the world. And when they got on to me, they had just finished kicking the Tea Party out of some property in Atlanta because they basically are big contributors to the Democratic Party and to the Clintons and to Barack Obama and to all the Democrats and liberal causes you've ever heard of, which is fine. They have every right to do that. I have no problem with that. But what they also seem to be intent on doing is making their malls conservative-free zones that, you can express a pro-Obama sentiment, and last year you could express an anti-Bush sentiment, but you cannot criticize Obama and be in their malls.
That's just disgusting to me. I don't know that I agree with everything that your bumper stickers and T-shirts say, and I don't know that I would necessarily wear them if they were presented to me as a gift, but I will tell you this, I think you have the right to sell them, and people have the right to buy them if they want. And, you're not advocating violence in anything that I see that they've asked you to take down. I don't understand how they can actually justify this.
Anything that advocated violence or advocated anything illegal. And by the way, there are also T-shirts in the mall that advocate, for instance, smoking marijuana, which is illegal, and the mall doesn't have a problem with that. But we don't advocate anything illegal. We don't do anything that attacks anybody's race or religion or anything like that. These are just making criticisms and comments on the political issues and the politicians of the day. And ultimately, it's a business, which means that we're endeavoring to make products that will sell and that successfully represent how people feel. If nobody agrees with our bumper stickers, if nobody sees their opinion expressed in that, well, then they're not going to buy that one. And then that turned out to be a poor investment on my part.
Well, some people might say that you cut off your nose to spite yourself because you're out of business now because you just wouldn't take 3 items off the shelves. And had you just acquiesced, you'd still have your place there in the mall.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could say that. I guess maybe I'm, an idealist. Initially, by the way, the mall had insisted that everything go. That they said that we couldn't express any opinions at all. It wasn't until they had hundreds of protesters in their parking lot that they backed off from that and picked the 4 they didn't like. But I really have a problem with having a company which is owned by big supporters of the current administration, telling us what criticism can't be made about the current administration. And that's really the situation I was in. They wanted to pick and choose and say, okay, we'll let you do this criticism, but you can't do that criticism about the current administration. And it seems to me that it's an essential point of our democracy that you need to be able to criticize, particularly the current administration, on any grounds that you want, because that's what makes us free. These guys, the people in the White House at any given moment, don't need to be protected. They already have, a tremendous amount of power. Traditionally, the president's considered the most powerful man in the world, and they don't need to be protected from criticism. And that's, I think, we get into a very dangerous territory when we look at that. And what I'm trying to do now, we're on the web at freemarketwarrior.com, and we're looking at some other locations, but we're also trying to focus the business, more on freemarketwarrior.com, where we've got most of our merchandise, and we do blogging there and things like that.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure as a result of the publicity, you're doing just fine selling. I hope you are selling on the internet, where people who might agree with you have opportunity to buy your stuff. But again, I agree with you because it's actually patriotic to criticize your government, and I've criticized this administration. I've pretty roundly criticized the previous administration, and I guarantee if I'm still sitting here after this administration is gone, I'll be criticizing its success.